Hello, everybody. You're all here real early. We're going to get started in about 3 minutes. I am waiting on my guests to join me. Hello, Mr. Webb.
Hello.
Good to see
Hello,
you.
President Moore. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. We're going to get started in 2 minutes. You know, I like starting on time. There's some people that have already joined us, but just give it 1 second and we will get started.
Certainly will.
I want to go back to my page so I can the video. Hope everybody's having a great day today. Um, let's see. Oh, I can't. There I am. There you are. Okay, great. Looks like it's cutting my head off here.
I see you just fine.
Okay. You see the whole head, my whole head? I don't. Oh,
I do.
oh,
There's clearance.
okay. On my view, it's not looking that way, but that's okay. I don't see need to see the top. Hope everybody's seeing all of my head. Yeah, for instance, for some reason on my view, it's not showing that, but hmm. Yeah, I think it is. I just see the description. Oh, hi, Karen. Let's see who's joining me. I gotta Miss Middlebrooks, welcome, and Miss Salvery. Hi, Keith Meadows, Mr. Akins. Oh, you all did just joining right on in. I appreciate you. And I appreciate the sharing. I see people sharing as well. So that's good. And it is 1 o'clock. So, hello, everyone. Welcome to Conversation with the Council President. Thank you so much for joining me. I know some of you got on earlier when I was doing my test, but we want to make sure we get this video out to you and get it right. This is our opportunity in my council office. We want to make sure that we're staying connected with you, being the resource that you want us to be, providing information, and just checking in with you to make sure everyone's okay. So, without further ado, we have a guest today. We're figuring out how to include other people into our realm. And I am so happy to introduce this particular guest. You see him up on the screen. His name is Mr. Forrest Webb. Now, you may know him in one way, and that is if you watch the council meetings before we started doing them remotely, or you listen to them, you know, he is more than just the man that calls the votes and gives the roll call. He is our municipal clerk, and he also has a dual role as our election superintendent. I've known Forrest since I've been on city council. And he is just one thing about Forrest is he is a consummate professional. I will just say that. He really is, and he takes his job very seriously. He does it with enthusiasm, care for the city, and with integrity and distinction. And so, without further ado, I want to introduce Mr. Forrest Webb and let him tell you a little bit about, you know, his experience in the city. Hi, Forrest.
Good afternoon. How are you doing, President Moore?
I'm doing fine.
Thank you for having me.
You?
I'll start by saying that, it's an honor just to be present and to be able to speak. Because typically during the council meetings, myself and the staff, we support the council meetings. And also, Monday through Friday, we have other responsibilities that we uh, execute on a regular basis. One is being the custodian of the code and the charter, and it's, of course, the city seal. And of course, something that most people don't know is that we also attest to the City of Atlanta's MOUs, IGAs, contracts. And I also am the filing officer for the City of Atlanta, I'm sorry, the state of Georgia state financial disclosures, as well as the financial disclosures for each individual elected official. and also those individuals who ran for office who may have ran unsuccessful. So it's not just the current elected official, it's those who have ran for office who haven't closed out their actual accounts. I've served under 6 mayors, and I've also served under 6 presidents. You would be my 6th president that I've served under. It's been an honor. I've learned a lot. Um, I started my first decade with the city of Atlanta with the Atlanta Municipal Court as the deputy director of pretrial services. And I learned a lot under the deceased Chief Barbara Harris at the time. And it's funny how things come full circle because she was a proponent of following the council meetings, understanding how the legislation impacted us, following public safety, finance executive. Of course, I thought that was well beyond what my role was as the deputy clerk in municipal court. But it all came full circle, and there's a lot of value. And what you may not know is I remember you as a staffer for Councilwoman Tanubu, and you were the same then as you are now, in that get it done, be on time, be early. Early is on time, you know, those type of things. So it's been a pleasure to watch you as you've matriculated through the city of Atlanta and acquired the knowledge. And also, those are the things that are required for the reasonable leadership, I would imagine, for myself. So thank you.
Well, you are the municipal clerk, and a lot of times, like I said, they think of you just in what you do with the city council. What are you, and you talked about the contracts and things that come through your office, and so you keep all of the records for the city. What else do you do as the election superintendent that's more specific with that?
I serve as you said, the election superintendent for the purposes of qualifying candidates, as well as challenge hearings, as well as bond referendums or any other referendum that the city council may call. As I believe it's not believe on June the 9th, I'm drawing a blank on my dates,
Mhm.
we have a most referendum. And so, of course, that was one of the responsibilities per the code that I was charged to actually make that call and exercise the contract with Fulton County.
Okay. Well, the other thing is, you keep all of the records, and so citizens may want to go back and access a city council meeting or a particular piece of legislation. How does your office uh, help someone if they don't exactly know how to do that?
Well, either you can call the office directly, or you can come to our office, or you can email our office. We have a web presence on the City of Atlanta's website under the municipal clerk, and you can ask us for any institutional legislation that has been adopted by the council. Currently, we have about 12 years on premises in our vault. Beyond that, we have legislation going back to the 1800s, which we um, have at the Atlanta History Center. You can go directly either to the Atlanta History Center, or you can facilitate that request through us. You can call us directly at 404 330 6031, or you can actually send us an email to municipal clerk.
So they can go back and watch the videos and get the legislation. What is how much? How many years are online in case people want to get that online?
Online, we typically try and have it goes back, if I'm not mistaken, to maybe 93. Um, that was a challenging time for us. 93, we have a lot of things as TIFF files. And so there are pictures, images of those legislative items from that period of time. We can go back beyond that, but online they should be able to pull up 1992, 93 very easy.
So if anybody has any questions for our municipal clerk and election superintendent, please let us know that. So, we're dealing with this COVID-19 pandemic. You said come to your office, which they can't do now because City Hall is not open to the public. Tell us how COVID-19 has impacted your operations in your office and how you work to fix those issues.
It's been a challenging environment. However, because we're the custodian of all of the city's records, when it comes to legislation, we've automated a lot of our processes. So subsequently, working remotely from home, we do have the ability to be able to access our records. Mr. Damon Matzenberg, who also is the IT professional for the entire city council, he has additionally gave us access to our server. So we can access anything that a person would ask for in person remotely from our homes. And we try and do it as a team. I have a staff of 10 individuals, including myself. And I think that we're very proficient at doing what we do. Also, in terms of the council meetings, you may know it, but a lot of people may not know this, is that 2 hours prior to each council meeting, which is the primary meeting that we staff, we have to start onboarding council members and the council president. And I would like to thank you, Madam President, as well as the council members for cooperating, because at the time that we start the meeting at 1 o'clock, it appears to be seamless, but there's a lot of activity that goes on behind the scenes. And we have upwards of not just the 10 staff members in my office, but we also have the policy and research staff that also is assisting us in onboarding all of the council members and make sure they have all of their personal papers, substitutes, amendments, everything before the meeting. And it's a lot to juggle. And I cannot even remotely take the credit for that, although I'm charged with certain responsibilities. If not for the very experienced staff, I wouldn't be able to do any of the things that I'm here even discussing today.
Well, someone asked about how the referendums are worded, which the clerk has nothing to do with. Typically, that's done by the state, and they do make it more confusing than just direct and to the point. Sometimes it's for good reason, and sometimes. So that's the answer, Ms. Brooks. Anyone else have any questions? And the clerk, please let us know. And I did have to ask you, now that we're in voting, as election superintendent, could you kind of give us the lay of the land on what's going down? Oh, there's my nephew. Good. Thank you for watching. With the elections, with the absentee ballots, precinct and polling places. You know, I filled out my application for my absentee ballot and I haven't got a ballot yet. So could you kind of give us an update on that?
As I said before, the election is on June the 9th. What we're encouraging individuals to do, citizens to do, is to vote via absentee ballot. It's a very volatile situation right now with COVID-19, and we want to minimize the possibility of the spread itself. We do have early voting locations that will be available on May the 18th through June the 5th. And those hours are posted on the Fulton County's website. And if individuals desired to vote early, they could take that route. Also, in addition to that, if they wanted to vote by absentee, they should have received a notice from the Secretary of State's office. That is just the cherry on top of the ice cream, if you will. You can contact Fulton County or DeKalb County directly, because we have citizens that live in Atlanta and DeKalb County. You can contact them directly, and they will have the actual ballot sent to you. What you will see, and I encourage everyone to do this, go on to the Fulton County or the DeKalb County's website and take a look at the sample ballot. The sample ballot is fairly lengthy. It's a composite ballot that will be factoring in the March 24th election that was postponed, as well as the May 19th election that was postponed. So you'll have 3 formal elections compositely gathered on one ballot.
So what happens if people voted early on the first one, the early one in March?
If you voted early in that March 24th election, your vote has been maintained in Fulton County or DeKalb County, if you're a DeKalb County, Atlanta resident, and your vote will be carried forward to the June 9th election.
Yes, because I know some people were confused when they got that absentee ballot. They just, one person told me they threw it out. I said, oh, well, you need to get you another one, because we want to encourage everybody to do it absentee.
And I would be remiss if I didn't say, when I received mine, which I anticipated receiving one, when I received it, it looked like my junk mail, because the way in which it actually came. And that's why I'm encouraging individuals to call their um, county registration office and request that ballot in person to be mailed to you. Also, I'd like to just say that the experience on election day will be extremely different. It has been forgotten that this is our first election using the new voting equipment. And so subsequently, people will experience something totally different. It'll be totally electronic. What the various registration offices are doing in this COVID-19 pandemic situation, we're going to use stylists rather than have individuals select their ballot, their votes by pressing the machine. Also, there will only be 5 individuals allowed within the voting area at a time to basically control the social distancing.
So someone is asking, when do they receive their absentee ballot? They apply by mail, haven't received it. And Carrie, I just asked that question because I did the same and I haven't received it. Fulton County is where she is and where I am. I understand they're a bit behind.
They are. Every county has been under siege when it came to the absentee ballots. And what Fulton County has done, they've hired additional staff in order to process those applications and have those sent out. Obviously, first come, first serve. So it is taking them a time to actually get those ballots out. I would be remiss also if I didn't indicate that Fulton County, they had a staffer that succumbed to COVID-19, as well as the registration chief himself. He was diagnosed as having COVID-19. He has since recovered, but of course, that's your leadership or one component of your leadership. They have a entire staff at 141 Prior Street. They're using the atrium area at Fulton County in order to process the absentee ballots.
Okay. And one other thing on the elections, I understand that they were talking about having some drop-off locations for the absentee ballots. If we ever get them, that you can just drop them off. Do you know anything about that?
That has not been confirmed. This Thursday at 10 a.m., there will be a Board of Registration and Election remote meeting. They will be providing more detail on the drop-off locations. And speaking of the drop-off locations, uh, the precincts that one would normally go to on election day, throughout the state of Georgia, a lot of the precincts have been actually removed or relocated and so forth, simply because the facilities aren't available for usage during the election. So subsequently, Fulton County, DeKalb County, the various counties are scrambling to make sure the individuals know where their voting place is prior to election day. Again, 2 things: check that check that sample ballot, take a look at it. It's very lengthy. And in addition to that, I would encourage individuals to actually confirm you know where your voting location is. You can use the My Voter page either through DeKalb County or Fulton County, or go directly to the state. It's called My Voter. It'll ask you for your information, I believe your date of birth, your name, and your county. And it'll let you know what your precincts are. It'll let you know what congressional districts you live in and so forth, and what council districts you live in.
Thank you. That is some valuable information, and all of us have to be very vigilant because everything is shifted. As you said, precinct and polling places may change, whether or not we'll have a drop-off location for the absentee ballots, whether or not you've received your actual ballot, which I'm waiting, and many people are waiting because, particularly in Fulton County, we've had some holdups from that. So everybody's going to really need to be on your P's and Q's and make sure that you it's very important. Is there anything you would like to share with the audience before I say goodbye? And I really appreciate all your great information.
Other thing, I'd like to recognize just a few people in the office, simply because those are the individuals that never get recognized. And I stand on their shoulders in everything that I do. And my average years of service in my office is 15 years. And I'd have to start with Miss Elizabeth Jones, does an awesome job. Miss Alma Monegro, Mr. Sean Brown, Miss Patricia Marshall, Miss Vanessa Walden, who is my deputy, who does everything across the board. Miss Vanessa, Miss Evelyn Scott, Miss Teresa Payne, Mr. Lamar Parks, and last but not least, Ms. Monique Washington. Those are 10 individuals that do a lot of work, and people just assume that we can get everything done, that we have a army of individuals that work for us, and we don't. And segueing into just one last item, Fulton County in particular, they have a staff of maybe 21 people. DeKalb County, when I say Fulton County Office of Registration and Elections, DeKalb County has less than that conducts the election for entire DeKalb County and Fulton County. And what they do during this period of time, they bring on additional staff, polls or woman are polls. I would say that thank those individuals any opportunity you have. They have a huge responsibility. 100% of their charge is within the official code of Georgia. And then just going back to my office, 100% of what we do is governed by the code, the charter, the official code of Georgia, as well as the elections code. So it's not a discretionary decision that I can do anything. And last, Madam President, as you indicated before, I do serve as the City of Atlanta Municipal Clerk. Although I'm appointed by the City Council, which I definitely appreciate, and I enjoy serving. I serve on behalf of the citizens of Atlanta, as well as the executive offices, as well as the legislative office. And it's been a pleasure because I can do my job every single day with the support of the mayor's office and with the support of the judicial branch and the support of the executive branch, and be able to have a nonpartisan approach to my daily responsibilities. So thank you.
And I want to thank you and thank all your staff, and that just shows, the consummate professional that you are, and just the integrity that you have to know all of the people in your office that I have interacted with that are all professionals that have worked very hard. It's very important because I know a lot of times, particularly on social media, citizens will throw out things that they want to happen, but they have to understand that somebody has to do the work. And a lot of times you're not doing that work with a lot of people. And
Yeah.
thank you so much for what you do. Thank you for joining us. People have found this informative, and we'll maybe have to have you back again. You did good.
Thank you. I enjoyed
All
it.
right. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
See you. You can log
Have
off.
a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And so that is our municipal clerk. Out. There we go. We got him. Thank him for that information. I did see another question I want to answer before I forget, and that was by Mr. Jordan wanting to know when the other boards and commissions are going to meet. By the Atlanta City Council that has put a hold on all of the boards and commissions. I do believe personally that they can start to meet remotely. We figured it out how to do it for the council. I believe that technology is there and available. That is something the executive branch and the administration will have to work out. But right now, everything is on hold, and I do not have anything to update you on is in terms of when they will get those back. You're not the only one that is asked, and many others like the License Review Board and many of the other boards and commissions that you asked about and others that are not meeting. They help to move things forward. People are asking about them, so I hope the administration is working diligently to get that done. Two things I want to talk about, and please give me your questions now and not when I'm about to sign off. But I always want to remind everyone to please, 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 if you haven't done it already, fill out your 2020 census. It is extremely important, particularly in this COVID-19 issue. I use as an example when they had the first brush of the CARES Act, they wanted to give it to cities over 500,000. The city of Atlanta was less than 500,000. And so we were not going to be able to get there. But 10 years ago, if some people who didn't fill out the census had filled it out, we may have made that $500,000 mark. Fortunately, we have wonderful legislators, both Senate and House members who advocated on our behalf and were able to get us in that CARES Act and bring back to the city $88 million that we can use in response to the COVID-19 situation. But we shouldn't have had to go that extra step that census. We need every single dollar that we can get for COVID-19, for all of the grant funding. They're cutting grant funding significantly. You see online right now under the comments how you can go online and fill out the census form if you haven't mailed it in. But please, I'm going to remind you until I can't remind you anymore. If you haven't, it only takes a couple of seconds. You'll be looking for more questions to answer. Really, it's very short. Please fill it out. The other thing is the absentee ballot. Please make sure you filled out that application. If you Now we've posted in the comments how you can reach Fulton County and your DeKalb County uh, uh, elections offices, and make sure you get at one, because you don't want to necessarily have to go to the poll. And then we will always, as I always encourage you to make sure you're liking my page, Felicia Moore, Atlanta City Council President, because we always are sharing with you information on voting, etc. As a matter of fact, today, Monday, is the last day that you can register to vote to be able to vote in that June 9th election. So if you or someone you know who has not registered to vote, you want to get them to get online or get wherever they need to get and get registered to vote. So the governor's shelter in place and the state of emergency remains into effect until May 13th. Restrictions have been eased, and you see that many businesses are open. I ask people to use your own common good sense and personal responsibility, encouraging you to keep your social distance, avoiding crowds, which I have seen, and making sure that you're wearing a face covering when you're out in public. Those are very simple things that you can do. We can't stop what the governor's order does or does not do. So the debate over whether or not things should be open has already happened. They're open, but you have good common sense, and you can use that and not put yourself in a situation that you feel that you may be exposing yourself to COVID-19. So please make sure that you are keeping your social distance, staying away from large crowds and gatherings, and making sure you're wearing your face cover. We've had yet another full council meeting that's been done remotely, and um, we are making sure input from the public, as we all do in one form or the other. And so please, I'm going to give you some of the meeting dates that are coming up. And we posted online. There is a phone number associated with each meeting, whether it be the committee meeting or a full council meeting, where you can call and leave a voicemail with your public comment, and it's played over the air during the meeting. One thing I've noticed, I ask people, if you do leave a comment, if you want us to really hear you, don't use your speakerphone. Speak directly into your receiver, your phone, and make sure you're speaking clearly, taking your time, and speaking loudly so that we can capture that clearly. I think some people are calling on the speakerphone. I always want to hear from you at your Atlanta City Council. Now, the mayor has convened an advisory council, which is going to give recommendations on how the city should start to open up. I'm hoping, Mr. Jordan, that maybe they will address this issue as well about boards and commissions setting up and when they're going to get started. That's my hope, that that's a part of their recommendations. We're looking for that to come out on May the 15th. Also, in addition to that, if you keep up with my page, I know I post a lot, but I always try to share what I know with you. We have been having weekly updates with the mayor. And so I would just ask you to join in on those or catch the replay of those. We post them online. Unfortunately, we haven't got a lot of pre-notice, but as soon as we know, we let you know. That keeps you updated as well as what the administration is doing. We should be starting budget session. So it's time for our 2021 budget. It will start Tuesday, May 19th, and continue approximately until June the 23rd. And so we always, as always, will post those this budget season will be one that we'll really have a lot of discussion about because, as you know, with COVID-19, we have lost a lot of sales tax revenue in particular. And so we are losing revenue that helps to fund the city, and how we plug that budget gap and continue the services that you want and deserve will be a big topic of discussion. So please tune in to those. And let's see. Final reminder that the presidential primary has been postponed until June 9th, along with the City of Atlanta Municipal Option Sales Tax. The MOST is for short. And remember that MOST is for water and sewer rates, which are those things that will help us fund our water and sewer issues to keep the water rates as low as we can. Um, okay, I'll answer that in just a minute, Ms. Brooks. So that will keep those water rates low. That will be on the ballot. So please make sure that you get your ballot so that you can give us your opinion. Let's see, I did remind you about the absentee ballots, and I again remind you about Census 2020. And Ms. Brooks, you asked me, will the meetings of the Advisory Council to reopen Atlanta be open to the public? I guess I cannot answer that question. The only way I think that we could potentially open it to the public, and this is the mayor's advisory council, is they would have had to do something remote because we're not physically meeting, and I don't know that they have done open remote meetings. So I can't answer that question whether they provided that. I have not seen that information. So anyway, I want to just bring to your attention one more thing because it's time for us to wrap up. 30 minutes goes really quick. On my page, you will see the Atlanta City Council meeting schedule. And so today at 2 o'clock, which is in 30 minutes, the Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee will meet. And I do know that the chair has asked, and I'm going to be interested in it as well, about a lot of the street racing that's been taking place and gatherings. I believe the chief may be there. So you might want to tune in. You can get that by Channel 26 if you're a Comcast subscriber. You can get it on my council page. I think my staff streams it live there. You certainly can get it on the Atlanta City Council page. I hope you're following that on Facebook, and it's on Twitter as well. And they live stream it. And then I said Channel 26. Oh, and the city's website. It should be streaming live on the city's website as well. And so then tomorrow, which is Tuesday, 10 a.m., city utilities will meet. Again, if you want to give public comment to these meetings, you have to do it an hour in advance. So by 9 a.m. tomorrow, you have to leave any comments for that. Community Development Human Services Committee meets at 1:30. On Wednesday, the 13th, 9:30 a.m. will be the transportation meeting, and finance executive at 1:30 p.m. So again, please like and follow my page. Keep up with me on this medium as well as Instagram and Twitter. Thank you so much for joining another conversation with the council president. Thank you so much to our municipal clerk, Forrest Webb, for joining us, and we will see you next time. Everybody have a blessed day. Social distance, cover your face, and avoid those crowds. Have a good day. Bye-bye.